Hi everyone, and thank you for joining us for another short video series, this time covering capital planning. My name is McKinley Thompson, and today I'm happy to introduce Rachel, who's one of our healthcare consultants here at Dude Solutions, as she covers part one, which will focus on facility condition assessments and really why capital planning is important. So Rachel, I'll turn it over to you.
Great. Thank you, McKinley. Welcome, everyone. I'm excited to talk to you about capital planning in this first part of a two-part series. So in this first session, we're going to be talking about the importance of capital planning and why you should be capital planning. Then we'll move into what data will you need to collect and how an FCA can help. So moving into why capital plan. So some reasons capital planning are because your assets are expensive. Okay, so when we think about capital equipment, going back to the old adage of you want to take care of your valuables. So capital planning can also help you forecast data for budgeting purposes. So we want to ensure the money is there when you need it, and we want it to help you avoid any nasty surprises. So also when considering capital planning, you have to think about your capital budget versus your operations budget. That is going to help you better prioritize funds and help you provide your CFO with a better plan. So ultimately that's going to help you improve that communication with your CFO. Another thing to consider on why you should capital plan is if you're ever looking to expand your community, investors are also going to want to know the condition and value of your assets. So moving into collecting the right data. So when we're thinking about what are the types of assets that we want to capture as part of our capital plan, going back to that capital budget versus operations budget, an asset is typically something that we consider is above a certain dollar amount threshold that you may set for your community. It's usually the equipment that is requiring a lot of preventative maintenance. And sometimes it could even include things that when aggregated, they're above that dollar amount threshold. So some examples there would be groups of appliances or structural items that you're capturing as a system, so like roofs or large flooring replacement projects. So when we think about different types of collection strategies in regard to capturing the right data, usually you want to be breaking the assets up by building or by area. Or you may want to look at it by system. So we need to capture all of our HVAC items or all of our electrical items. Some different ways that you can get data into the system are you can add assets directly into the product. You can also add assets through our mobile platform, and we also have a spreadsheet available. And lastly, you could even potentially look into the data collection services that we have available here at Dude Solutions. So before we get into talking about how an FCA can help, I do want to give you a sneak peek into the product where we look at an asset profile. So this is going to help you envision based on the different types of data that we want to collect. So up on my screen here, I have an asset pulled up. So you can see as part of the general information section, we're capturing things like the asset location, the asset description, which is always translates to the asset name. And over here along the right-hand side, you'll see here that there's three fields called the purchase date, the purchase cost, and the estimated lifespan. So those three fields are important for the capital planning module here within the work sub, because that is what is going to activate the capital planning features. So if we scroll down a little bit further here in the asset profile, you'll notice that there is a capital planning panel. So based on that original purchase date, purchase cost, and estimated lifespan, when we open up this capital planning panel, here's where our assessment information is going to start to paint that replacement forecast picture for us. All right. So again, reiterating that in order to activate those capital planning features, you must know the original purchase information of the purchase date, cost, and estimated lifespan. Okay, so moving into how an FCA can help you. So there's various reasons why FCAs can help. So probably the number one reason is it removes the burden from you of having to collect assets on your own, which is in turn going to expedite that collection time, because you're going to have accurate data that's delivered to you from industry experts, and those industry experts that are coming on site to do that FCA, those are going to be your dedicated resources. So that is the only thing that they will be doing when they are on site, which is really going to help speed up the time frame it takes to collect all of the assets at your community. So an FCA can also help you provide insight into your immediate needs and helps in creating a sustainable funding model. So it's also going to be able to help support your repair versus replace decisions. So also along the same lines of those repair versus replace decisions, there's lots of other benefits with having, not only the facility condition assessment information, but also just your assets collected in general, because that's going to help you better keep up with your preventative maintenance. And it's also going to give you a lot more visibility into that work order history on those pieces of equipment. So moving into the last tidbits of information that I want to leave you with today when we're considering how an FCA can help you is really an FCA's impact on sustainability. So when we're talking about FCA's impact on sustainability, there's three main areas to consider. So the first area is financial, the second area is environmental, and the third area is social. So going back to financial, when we're thinking about that realm of the impact of sustainability, there's two main things we want to look at. And the first one is budget. So all of our capital decisions, as we know, are going to impact our operational budgets. So a big example here is if we're purchasing more efficient equipment, yes, that can have a higher capital cost in the beginning, but over the long term, your return on investment and impact can help make your case, and those operational costs are going to be less a few years down the road. Okay, so that's some good insight that an FCA will start to give you. Also under financial is taking into consideration your equipment life. So because FCAs are going to be providing that insight into the remaining useful life, when you know that remaining useful life information, that's going to help you extend the life of your assets through proper repairs at the right time. So it's going to keep those pieces of equipment operating for as long as possible. So next we move into environmental. So really the big thing around environmental is we're always looking to reduce energy consumption. Okay, so FCAs are also helping us identify equipment deficiencies. So if you notice that you have a lot of deficiencies within your equipment, that usually means that you have a higher energy consumption. So an important thing to note here is FCAs are not energy audits, but if it's helping you identify those repair versus replace needs and your equipment is being maintained at proper intervals, it's ultimately going to help you be more energy efficient. And lastly is the social aspect. So when we think about the sustainability impact in the social realm, two things come to mind, is increasing resident satisfaction and improving the community environment. Okay, so going back to resident satisfaction, so when all of your equipment is operating efficiently, residents are less likely to complain about it being too cold or too hot. And you know you're going to have the financial resources to make sure that equipment is operating reliably. So that also ties right into improving the community environment. Okay, so not only are we concerned with the resident satisfaction aspect, but we also want to make sure that we're supporting those common area environments. So that's going to tie into the comfort for residents as well as your staff. So that's all I've got for this video. In the next video, we will be getting into the product a lot more. So thanks everyone for listening.